My name is Busayo and I just thought I should introduce myself as your host on Broken Road podcast. We'll try and make it a weekly podcast, and the foundation for Broken Road is based on Isaiah chapter 61 verse 1, which says that he has sent me to comfort the brokenhearted and to proclaim the captives will be released and prisoners will be freed. Our vision on Broken Road is to proclaim healing, freedom, and liberation from abuse. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Broken Road. Broken Road is that space where we proclaim healing, liberation, and freedom from abuse. My name is Busayo. I'm your host. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Today on Broken Road, we're going to be exploring 8 attitudes that we should cultivate during our healing process from abuse. So these 8 attitudes were actually inspired from my recent research into mindfulness. So I've been trying to find ways by which stress can be reduced in our lives, and that led me to mindfulness practices, which I found to be very, very helpful. I'll probably discuss it one of these days. But for the purpose of today, there was this talk I stumbled across that was given by John Kabat-Zinn. John Kabat-Zinn was the one that developed the mindfulness-based stress reduction, MSBR for short. Very, very awesome practices and training. And he was talking about 9 attitudes that we should cultivate for mindfulness. And the first 7 of the 9 attitudes are actually the fundamentals of the MSBR, which he developed. And as I listen to it, I believe these are things that we can actually apply to our own healing journey as well. That's the reason why I'm bringing it up here today. So I'll dive right in so that way I don't take too much of our time. The first attitude to cultivate is called the beginner's mind. So the way I envision the beginner's mind is like you're watching a movie play out for the very, very first time. You have a fresh perspective of what is going on. You're devoid of any form of bias or judgment. Like you're just watching the movie for the very first time. You're excited about it. You don't know how it's going to unravel. You don't know how it's going to unfold. And by the end, you're watching it through clear eyes. You're seeing things from a different or a new perspective. So that's the way that can be applied to our lives, is looking at the abusive relationship with fresh eyes, not like someone who is within that relationship. Because when you get within that relationship, you're kind of on autopilot. You're already used to the things that are happening there, so you do not see anything wrong with it. You're just there. You're just going through your daily life as it is. But if you look at it as an outsider who is seeing it for the first time, then you're better able to make a better assessment or a judgment of that relationship. So, and also we can also apply it to the therapeutic or the healing process. If you're going through the healing process, you might have tried other solutions, maybe counseling here and there, but now that you want to, that you've determined that you're ready to heal from the abuse, if you look at it from a fresh perspective and you act like a child who is taken maybe to, let's say, an amusement park for the very, very first time, how the child will be in awe. If you take your healing process from that perspective, you'll be open to new solutions, open to new experiences in that way. And I believe that will be very, very helpful. So the next attitude is non-judging. Non-judging, a lot of times when you go through abuse, in your own mind, you're judging every action. We're not even talking about the judgment that we're receiving from the abusive person now, or judgment from other people who are like, why are you still in that relationship? You ought to have left. We're not talking about that. Even ourselves personally, the way we are judging ourselves could even be harsher than how other people are judging us. And this judgment is continuous. So what we can begin to do is to examine our own thoughts and identify those judgments that we're passing on ourselves. It could be guilt. Why did you act so? Why did you talk in this manner? We're not even the way he even presented, which I really love, was that just begin to see or understand what those kind of thoughts, and follow those patterns in your mind. Don't even judge yourself for thinking in that manner. No. But the first step is to recognize what is going on in our minds. Then when you recognize it, you'll be able to stop, because we have control over our thoughts. So as those thoughts are coming, we're examining them to find out whether or not they have the right basis or not. So we need to start examining the nature of the thoughts that are running through our mind, and try and stop ourselves from passing judgment on our own actions or past actions, or having all these regrets and other things. So the third one is acceptance. I really love this acceptance, because I think the day a person who has been abused accepts the reality of the situation, you gain freedom from that moment onward, because it's very difficult to accept it. We live in denial most of the time. We look at our situation and say, oh no, it's not that bad. We don't want to accept it for what it is. Acceptance is not resignation to fate. No. Acceptance is coming to the full realization that what you are into, or the kind type of relationship you are in, is abusive. The day you accept it, that is the day the scales fall off your eyes. I'm telling you. The day you accept it, that this is not love. This is not what love should be like. No. This person does not love me. I'm telling you, there's nothing as liberating as that feeling. Acceptance is when you understand the reality of that situation and you see it for what it is exactly. If you're treated badly, either by your spouse or by your spouse's family members, the day you see it and you fully accept it, that yes, I was humiliated, I was rejected, I was verbally abused, and you accept it, that is the beginning of freedom. I'm telling you. So acceptance, looking at that relationship and accepting what it is, or accepting it for what it is. So the next thing is letting go. We struggle a lot with trying to fix things. We want it to be better. Letting go is just releasing it. Just releasing it. Stop fighting it. But just let go. Let go of all those, oh, maybe I can call somebody to speak to my spouse about this. Oh, maybe I can change my, just let go and begin to heal. Don't try to make anything better. No. Just let go of that situation as it is and start your own healing process. So another thing is trust. Trust, I also love this trust. Trust begins first in ourselves, not even in trusting anybody else now, but ourselves. Trusting ourselves, trusting our intuition, trusting our bodies. Because sometimes we don't pay attention to what our bodies is telling us. I don't know if you listened to the episode where that was titled know your stress and your body's response to stress. A lot of times we ignore the warnings of our heart. We ignore the warnings or the signals that were being given by our bodies. So trusting that it's an attitude for us to cultivate, which will help us begin to regain that confidence in ourselves and in our own decisions. So when we trust, we can start with little things. Maybe even as little as driving. You want to drive in one direction, or maybe you have a destination in mind and your heart is telling you to take another route. Just start little by little, gradually, and build that confidence, regain that confidence in yourself. and begin to trust your body. It may be as little as maybe you're feeling tired now and you need to sleep. Okay, follow those cues. So we have to regain the trust that we have in ourselves and in our bodies. Then patience, very, very important. We should be kind to ourselves. We should be patient with ourselves on our healing journey. Everybody's path is different. So with patience, we know, okay, we've already started the journey to heal from the abuse. You don't need to, unless you're in a situation, a life-threatening situation, you don't need to take any rash decisions, but be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, be patient with your journey, be patient with your healing process. Don't try and force anything right now, but take it one day at a time. That's what I'm learning myself with mindfulness practices, taking it not just one day at a time, one moment, 1 second at a time. And then the 7th one is gratitude. Gratitude, he brought it up again. I was so excited when I heard him say gratitude. Gratitude is very, 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 very important. We need to cultivate a heart of gratitude. I understand that situation might be bad right now. We really don't feel like we have anything to be thankful for, but for the mere fact that we're still here, we're still breathing, there's still hope for us, we should be grateful for that. So the final one is non-striving. Non-striving is kind of very similar to acceptance. It's just understanding the reality of one situation and not trying at that time to change anything. Just letting it be as it is, so that one can now be able to take the right decision at the appropriate time. That's what non-striving is. So not fighting yourself, not, like sometimes we have our own agenda where we think we ought to be at this time, what we think we ought to be doing, Non-striving is not that you will not have goals. You will have goals or things that you want to accomplish. But for that moment, don't struggle with life. Just let life unfold gradually and heal, and let your healing process unfold and take its effect. So that's what I have for you today. Thank you for joining me again. I hope to see you next time. Thank you.